Alright folks, in this video I'll go through the 4 lab videos for Chapter 2 of CCNA 1. And they're pretty self-explanatory, they're not that hard. So fire the first one off, and wait. Now when they come up like this, if you try to do anything, like you get that, so you just need to click in this white area, and then this will come up, hit cancel, and then you're all set. Now I'm going to move this over. Excuse me, need to quit drinking so much. So I typically do mine like that, and then for you guys, gonna make the font bigger so we can all see it. All right, now one thing with packet tracers, if you haven't played with this before, as you're going along, you can kind of check your progress by hitting check results here on the instructions, and then assessment items, and you'll see these are the items that assess you, and then here's how the points, so you can always see like what you got wrong or what you still have left to do. Then when you want to fix this or go back to where you were, hit close, and then it goes like that. So you're all set. So, so first thing it says is connect PC1 to S1 using a console cable. So, depend on how your training room is set up at your academy. At my place, we typically have the PCs, and you have to physically move a rack close to you, then you plug in the console cable. Some places it's already like pre-wired for you. You never do any of that stuff. So if I go to the cables, the light blue cable here is the console cable. And remember, console is a serial cable, so RS-232, and then into the console port of the router. All right, connection, and I kind of like to walk you through that. And then establish a terminal session. So if I go to the PC and hit desktop and terminal, and those settings are usually okay, you can see I'm now in there. But I can't see anything. So you can do your commands like this, and that's how they want you to do them for the lab. I'm going to do them on the switch itself so that you can see them. Oh, see why it's actually locked out. Ooh. So let me see if I can fix that real quick. All right, sadly, I don't know any way to make the size of that text bigger. So let's go back. And also, the bit rate is almost always 9600 and then 8 and none if you're ever connecting through a terminal like that. So let me move this here, and I'll try to just zoom in when I edit the video. All right, move that over, and all right. So we have a terminal session, message hit enter, so now we're here on number 3. So they tell you just to hit the question mark, and then you kind of see like what's available. So they're showing you the context-sensitive menu. So if I just hit question mark, it shows me like what commands I can punch in, and if I hit T question mark, it'll show me all the commands I can put in that start with T, and if I hit TE question mark, it'll show me all TE question mark. It'll show me all the commands that start with TE. But if I do TE, let's do telnet space question mark, it'll show me whatever I can put in after the word telnet. So telnet, and this is word, so I could telnet an IP address or host name. So that kind of like covers that. Context sensitive menu. All right, then they say at the prompt question mark. Oh, wait, we have privilege. Oh, we want to go to privilege mode. So we can just type in EN, and they have EN tab for the rest of the word enable. So remember, tab will finish a word for you if there's only one word that you can type in at that point. So if I was to go back, and I were to type T and hit tab, nothing happens because if I do question mark T, there's 3 different words I can type in. But if I hit TR, there's only one word that starts with TR. So now if I hit tab, it'll finish it for you. So if you're typing in, like let's say you're doing logging synchronous or some other word that you have a hard time spelling, and you hit tab and nothing happens, try to do a couple more letters and then hit tab again and see if that works. All right, so enable tab. What would happen if you type TE tab? Nothing, because there's 2 different options for TE. Enable has a prompt change. All right, so enable, boom. All right, now we're here in global mode. So now they say global mode. Now in global mode, if you just type in configure, you can either configure from the terminal, from memory, or network. And anything in these brackets here, or braces, this means this is the default. So if I just hit enter, it'll always take terminal. And you can abbreviate that by just typing in config T, or you can just hit conf T. Either way, all those will work. All right, so there's that. Oh, set the clock. Now, the clock is actually set from privilege mode. So here we are. I'm in global mode. I'm going to go back one. And now you see the prompt has changed. So it's clock set. And you can just do space and then do a question mark and tell you like what's next. So in my case, it's and it goes by military time. So all right, 12, 13, 15. So 15, 0, 0. And I always just do 30 for the seconds. Then space, question mark will tell you like what do you want next. Now it wants the day of the year and the month. Let me move this over so we can see like where we're at. So we're going to hit, because it's currently November 3rd, 2018. Then the command is correct. You hit enter and boom. So that's how you set the clock. Now normally in a business, you have all your devices pointing to an NTP server, which NTP stands for Network Time Server. So we have one or two servers in our business that go to like an atomic clock somewhere on the internet, and they're getting their time. So there's always a primary and a secondary. And then every other device points to those servers, and that way every device is on the exact same time by the millisecond. And the reason for this is if there's an incident and you have to look at the logs from 18 different devices, all their times line up. You know, if all their times are off, you know, the first device is normal and the second device is, you know, 2.5 minutes fast, the next device is 1 minute slow, it can be a real pain in the butt tracking what happened and when. So all your devices need to be on the exact same time. And eventually I think we'll talk about NTP. All right, then they say explore additional commands. I think we're good. Yeah, actually, so we got 20 out of 20, so we're good. So that's the first one, nice and easy. Let me get rid of that. And let's do the next one. So white space, get rid of that. Move that over. Move directions. And this one, for some reason, gives you the first 12 points. Yay, I'm all for that. Free points. All right, move that over. Okay. All right, so enter privileged exec mode. So we're going to go to S1. Now, when you first turn and you're connected to switches, notice how these lights here are amber. This is because at first the switches have no idea who's connected to what port. So they're trying to learn the MAC addresses. And eventually, after they wait a certain amount of time, and if they don't learn a MAC address, like there's no traffic, then they kind of come up to the up speed or the up whatever, the up state. All right, so click on S1 and hit CLI. And let's go from there. All right, so enable, gotta hit enter, enable. All right, so show run. So they're saying show running dash config. Remember, there's two configs, the running config and the startup config. Startup config is never used. It's just copied and placed into memory, then referred to as the running config. So we can always just do show run. And you get a bunch of, so spanning tree mode. This is on per VLAN spanning tree. And then we get the interfaces. Remember, if it says more, if I hit enter, I just get one line at a time. If I hit the space bar, I get a whole page of information. So this is just showing me all the interfaces. And then the console line has not been set up. Telnet hasn't been set up at all. And you can see there are two different Telnet settings on here. There's one for, remember, on a switch, 16 people can actually Telnet into a switch at the same time. So they have this one 0 through 4 and then 5 through 15. So the first 5 are going to have a separate login than the next 10. All right, so show the running config. So how many fast Ethernet interfaces does the switch have? Well, 24, because obviously the last number is 024. All right, how many gigabit interfaces? Obviously there's 2, 1, 2. What is the range of values shown for the virtual terminal lines? And 0 through 4 and 5 through 15. What command will display the current context of non-volatile memory? And that command is show start. And why does the switch respond with startup not configured? So if I do a show start, there is no startup configuration because this is a brand new switch. Remember, the commands I type in go into the running config, and then you have to save those into the startup. So because most packet tracers start up with the switches blank, they're kind of like new, like they're out of the box. All right, so now we're going to do a basic config. So go to configure terminal, give it a host name, and get out. So we're here, and give it a host name. Now, if you want points, you have to give it the exact same name and the exact same spelling that they give. So they have capital S and then 1. So capital S, 1. If you were to do a lowercase s, you might not get points. And you can see how we went from 12 to 17. So let me go back to that and change the name to lowercase s1. And you can see how now my points went down. So we need to go back. So even if you feel that you've done everything right, you might have done everything right, but you may have gotten one lowercase or uppercase letter mixed up or wrong, and that's kind of how the packet tracer grades. All right, so now they want you to set up the console line. So remember, that's the line that people physically plug into with the light blue cable or the rollover cable. So we need to be in global mode, so we are because our prompt says config. And then we need to do line console 0. All interfaces on Cisco start with the number 0 and go from there. And then password, and make sure you use the exact same stuff that they use. And then, so that just sets a password, but that doesn't turn it on. Then we have to do log in to turn it on. And then we need to exit. And then you see we got some more points. So now verify that it's secured. And they're just asking, is the password in effect? So we can do that by just typing in exit a few times and then hit return. And you can see now it's asking me for a password. The password is let me in. Then enable. And I need to go to global mode, config T. All right, so next is we need to secure that access. Now, I don't know why Cisco still shows you guys how to do the old password. It's just a bad practice. So if I go to config T and I do enable password, and I'm just going to do Cisco. Yeah. And then if I do remember, your show commands only work in privilege mode. But if you put do in front of it, they will work in global mode. Do show run. Yeah. And do it without adding extra fat finger stuff. So you can see here the enable password is Cisco, and it shows up in plain text. So that's bad. You never want to see that. So you can see I've got more here on the screen. If I hit Control C, that'll break that command, and I'm still backing out in global mode. So just to get points, though, I need to make sure that I do that correctly. Just to see if they're scoring this by me typing this in their way. No, they didn't. All right, so that's the enable password. So what we want to do is we want to do an enable secret password. So that's the enable password. And all right, enter. Oh, so they're just doing what I did was go do the show run and kind of see that the stuff is in plain text. All right, so now we're at number 6. So now we want to do an enable secret. So now if I do enable, got to be in the right prompt. Enable secret. And then Cisco, and what password do they want? Oh, it's a secret. And then exit. Now if I don't even need to exit. I'm just going to do a do show run. And now here's the enable secret password, and then here's the enable password. So you can see how one is obviously encrypted and the other is not. So we typically want to keep those encrypted. That's why you always want to use enable secret. Never, ever use enable password. Just forget that command. I don't even know why they covered it. All right, so we just kind of talked about that. So now we're going to encrypt all passwords on the device. And actually, let me show you one more thing. If I go down the bottom, you can see that the console password is unencrypted. So we need to encrypt that as well. So the command to fix that is service password encryption. So service, and spell it correctly. And then I'm just going to do P and hit tab, and it finishes it for me. And when I hit service password encryption, all plain text passwords in the config will be covered. So now if I do show run and spell that correctly, I got fat fingers. All right, so now that password, that's the enable password that wasn't encrypted. Now it's encrypted. And if I go to the very bottom, I can see even my other password is encrypted. So now we're all set. All right, now they want a banner message of the day, and we need to make sure that we have the exact stuff that they have. And I'm going to Control C that. So the command is just banner, MOTD for message of the day, and then a delimiting character, the message, and then a delimiting character. Now in this case, can I paste that? No, don't. So I got to do it just like they do. So this is a secure system. All right, so again, make sure that you have capitals where they have capitals, otherwise it won't score you. So right now I got 37. I'm going to hit enter on this, and it's still not scoring me. How dare you? Maybe, and there are some of these that obviously don't score. So we'll go back and check that. So when will this be displayed? So let me get out, hit exit, exit, and get out. As soon as I hit enter, you know, I'll see my message. And then the password, I think it's let me in. Enable. It's a secret. Now the enable secret will always take precedence over the enable password, and that's why it was it's a secret here to get into privilege mode, and not the other one, which was let me in. Or I don't know what the other one was. Oh, it was just Cisco. So we didn't have to use this one because we had this one set. Alright, so that's banner message of the day. Now config files. So now that we have this, if we were to power cycle this router, we would lose all this information because it would all be dumped out of memory. So we have to save it. Now they always do copy running config to the startup config. It's always copy from to, from location to location. So in our case, we're just going to do Control Z to get right back out of privilege mode, and then copy, run, start. And then it says, do you want to go to the startup config? By default, you just hit enter yes. And you can see that one actually scored us some points. All right, and then examine the startup configuration. So now if I do a show start, we'll see our config is now stored in the startup. So now we can power cycle the router, and it would come back up, and we wouldn't lose anything. All right, so let's make sure that we have all our points for S1. So if I go to check results and close that, assessment items. So on S1, we did everything correctly, and we got all our points. So close. All right, now they want you to go to S2 and do the same stuff. So now I'm going to go to S2. And we're going to name the device. So first we need to go to global mode and host name and spell it correctly. And S2. And protect the console. So line console 0. Password let me in. Log in. And move so here so you guys can see the points going up. And then exit. All right, and then the banner. Oh my gosh, fat finger and everything, Dave. Now I'm gonna do hashtag and then authorized access only dot. And then my delimiting character again. So your delimiting character can be quotes. I tend to use the hashtag. I don't usually ever put the hashtag in my stuff, or whatever you want to do. So now I'm going to hit that, enter. All right, and then encrypt all plain text passwords, and we do that with service password encryption. PA tab, enter. And then ensure the configuration is correct. Save the configuration file. So now I'm going to do a Control Z to go back out to privilege mode. And copy, run, start. And for some reason, I'm missing some points. Let's figure out where that's at. So it said, didn't like my enable password or my, oh, we didn't, but didn't ask us for that. Frickin' Cisco. All right, let me go back and look at that. Make sure that I read that correctly. All right, configure the enable password. Oh no, I missed that. Duh. It was me. I was on crack. All right, so config T. All right, so enable password and spell tabs because I can't spell. C1 $. Yeah, got stuff going on my keyboard. 01 and then enable secret. It's a secret. And now I got all my 72 points. So whenever they say encrypt all plaintext passwords, they're saying do the service password encryption and then ensure the configuration is correct. They just want you to do like a show run or a show start wherever you're at to make sure all your settings are in there. And then when they want you to save the configuration file, it's just copy, run, start. And that does that one. All right, let's move on to the next one. Not clicking the white, get rid of that, move it over, get over there. All right, 2325, so implementing basic connectivity. All right, configure S1 with a host name. So we go to the CLI, command line interface. Make this bigger so we can all see it. Move that up. All right, so enable, config T, host name. I should start using tab more. And they want S1. All right, and then console password privilege exec. So line console 0, password Cisco, all lowercase, log in to turn it on, exit, and then enable secret, and they want the class as the password. All right. Now they want two. Let me go just make sure that they don't want both those passwords set. Yeah, no, we're good. Yeah, so if it tells you just to do the enable password, they want the enable secret. So from this point on, they only want enable secret. All right, bring that back up. All right, verify both passwords are configured correctly. Do show run. And there's the enable secret. And then if I space bar, there's the other one. All right, and then banner message of the day. Banner MOTD, and we're just gonna do quotation marks, and gotta be a way to be able to. All right, Control C here, Control V. Oh, you little. Ooh, that'd be that way. Nice. So if I right click and hit paste, that worked, but Control V did not work. So pop that in, enter. All right, there's banner message today. Now save the config to NVRAM. So we just do copy, run, start. Oh, duh. I can do because I'm in global mode. So remember, when you're in global mode, you can still do your information finding by just putting the command do in front of that stuff. All right, so that takes care of that. Now configure the IP addresses of the PCs. So let's get rid of that. So click on PC1, desktop, IP configuration. And this PC's IP address is 192.168.1.1. And pop in that default subnet mask. And they're not no gateway. So now I need to do that for PC2. Desktop, IP configuration. And if you scroll to the top, they show you like PC2 should be this one. 192.168.1.2. Accept the default subnet mask. Done. Alright, and test connectivity. So from PC1, I can go to the command prompt, and I can ping. Remember, ping stands for Packet Internet Groper. And I want to ping the other, or wait a minute, they're pinging, and the address for S1. So S1 must already be pre-configured. Oop. And hit enter. I hate when they do stupid parts like this. Now, so request timed out means I couldn't get there, or I couldn't get back. There was a list somewhere I saw like that shows you exactly what all these different things mean. So request timed out and destination unreachable had actual different meanings. But obviously I can't ping it because we didn't assign this IP address to the switch yet. So I can't ping the switch. Why they make us do that stuff, I have no idea. So were you successful? No, because there's no IP address that has that. Alright, so now we go to the next thing. Configure S1 with an IP address. So go back to S1. Alright, so from global mode, we want to go... Remember, by default on a switch, all ports are access ports, and we'll talk about that eventually. And all ports are in VLAN 1 by default. So to assign an IP address to a VLAN, we don't actually do it through... Like to create a VLAN, we type in VLAN 1, and that actually creates the VLAN. But in our case, VLAN 1 is already created. But to assign an IP address, we have to go to the interface for VLAN 1. So we can just int VLAN 1, then IP add tab 192.168.1.253 space, and we always need a subnet mask. And then we need to bring it up with the no shut command, or the whole thing is no shut down. So by default, all commands or all interfaces are shut down except for a switch. So even if you buy a wireless access point, the radios are actually turned off. So you have to go to the radio and actually enable that with a no shut command to do no shutdown. So remember, no kind of contradicts the other command. So if I type in shutdown, then no shutdown brings that back up. If I type in IP address, no IP address removes that IP address. All right, so now we're good. So then we need to do the same thing for number 2. All right. So we're just addressing number 2. Config G, nice. All right. So interface VLAN 1 IP address 192.168.1. And if I scroll up, I can find the right address. 254. And then subnet mask. And no shut. Bring it back up. Alright, where am I at? Alright, configure S1, configure S2 with an IP address. Verify the IP address. So we can use the show IP interface brief command. And this is actually a really good command to run on a device. So I need to go back to privilege mode, or I can go to global mode, just type in do. But we're just going to do show IP interface brief. So show IP interface brief will show me all the interfaces on that device, what their IP address is, and whether they're operational or not. So in this case, all the interfaces are there's no IP addresses assigned, but if I hit more, now you can see VLAN 1 shows up at the very bottom and it has an IP address. So that's good. All right, which command is used to save? So now I need to save the running. No, it just says which command is used. All right. So from the PCs, now they want you to ping back and forth. So if I go here, what do they want me to ping? From PC1, ping PC, or the IP address of PC2. Apparently they want me to ping everything. So, gotta be in the right window. Alright, ping, PC2 is 192.168.1.2. And that's a correct reply, so I'm getting the replies back. So remember, ping sends 4 packets, and each packet is very small. It's only like the alphabet. And it gets there, so you can see that it got there in less than 1 millisecond. You can see how small the packet was. So I can ping all the way through now, so they want me to verify and ping everything else. So ping 192.168.1.253. And for some reason, now it's normal for the first packet to time out because every device has to learn. Like, oh, I haven't been there yet. Let me find that information. So you always want to wait till at least the third reply before you decide that it's not working. Because I said I've seen people where the first two timed out and they just canceled it right there with a Control-C. And had they just waited one more second, they would have seen that it was connected. So then they went into troubleshooting, but there was nothing to troubleshoot. Everything was actually working. All right, then they want us to ping the last one. Excuse me, 4. And especially like when you're going across 3 different routers or switches that have never been pinged before and there hasn't been any traffic on those. All right, so why am I not getting my points? All right. So wait, I gotta go all the way down. Oh, actually we have to save the config, so that's what I'm missing. So if I go back to S1, remember to save the config. Control-Z takes me back into privilege mode, and copy, run, start, and hit enter to confirm. Then if I go to S2, same thing. Copy, run, start, enter to confirm. And it still did not give me, only give me a few. What am I missing? Let's find out. So check results. S2. When did it say do that? That little fricker. All right. So what they're saying is I didn't set everything up on our S2. So we're going to go back to global mode and align console 0. And what password do they want for that? Oop, got excited there. All right, so console line, Cisco, and login, turn that one on, and then enable secret. They want class, and now I have. So what am I missing? One thing. Oh, the host name. How did I not do a host name on that? There it goes. So now I got all my points. We're all good. So remember, if you have any questions, make sure you drop them in the comments. Let me know. Other than that, we're good. And then the last one is the skills integration. I typically don't do those for you guys because I don't want my students cheating. So by now you should be able to knock out this skill integration one. I want to bring it back up. We'll kind of talk about this for a second just to make sure. All right. So you're going to set the names of the devices. You're going to use this password for all the lines. So you're going to do line console 0, line VTY 0 space 4, and then line aux 0. You're going to use that for the secret. You're going to encrypt all clear text passwords with service password encryption. You're going to make a banner of the message of the day on those devices with the word warning in it. Configure addressing for all devices in the address table. So we just did the switches and the PCs, so you should know how to do that. You're going to save your configuration with a copy, run, start. And you're going to verify by checking the config. So actually that one looks like pretty easy. You shouldn't have any difficulties after we've been through all this stuff. So other than that, any questions, make sure you let me know. Other than that, have a great day, folks.